Hey guys, Grumpy Panda here, bringing to you a video on the latest PTB Chapter 22 and Dead by Daylight. Now, this just came out tonight, and we pretty much got it as soon as we could. And there's a lot of things happening in this public test build. So the first thing is there's a new map that's going to basically be replacing Hawking. So I was expecting that. Nothing new, nothing surprising there. We got a new map, new killer, new survivor, a guy, Jonah Vasquez. Got a killer named the artist. Don't ask me why her name is the artist. It's got to have something to do with her background because it's got nothing to do with her appearance. And her map is named Eerie of Crows. Eerie? I don't know. So during this PTB content re-enabled location restriction when snuffing boon totems. I don't know what that means. I guess they re-enabled what does that mean? Location restriction. Don't know. Updated portraits for a few other characters and Cenobite add-on updates. They didn't change his power. They made his add-ons different and buffed and nerfed. I knew they was going to nerf one of them, and I think they maybe nerfed one other as well. The rest got buffed. I really wanted him to just get a teeny tiny buff on his power, but just a teeny bit. But he's so much fun to play. I enjoy playing Pinhead or Cenobite. Okay, so let's get in. That's kind of a side note. Let's go ahead and get into the patch notes here. Got it right here. All right. So the perks: overcome, corrective, action. You know what? We'll read them, but they don't really. I wish they would just say them right here, but overcome, corrective, action, and the boon exponential. Now we knew they was going to come out with another boon when they do a new mechanic in the game. They're always coming out. The next DLC is always going to have that mechanic in it. So hexes with the hag. The next one they had hexes, but something I didn't expect. The survivor, or excuse me, the killer. Actually, this is a new line for killer perks. I did not think about this, but Pinhead had a Scourge hook as well. I forgot the name of it, but it basically allows you to get a ability within hooking someone on one of 4 Scourge hooks. When you do that, you get something out of it, and depending on what it is, you get the result. Now, this has already been tested. I've seen it already. I'll go ahead and tell you guys. You cannot, if you run both perks at the same time, you will not get 4 hooks for one and 4 hooks for the other. It will be combined 4 hooks for all. So if you hook one person on one of those 4 hooks with either perk, you should, now this part I don't know, you should get both effects at the same time. It will not pick and choose, but it will not also give you 4 other hooks to choose from. This is a good yet a bad thing. It's a good thing because you get 2 effects on 1 hook, but it's a bad thing because obviously you got less hooks to go and use on the map. Now, 4 hooks is not very much, and there's probably, what, 12, 15, how many hooks are on any given map? Don't really know. I know, 4 is probably a third, not even a third, is probably a fifth of the hooks that you can choose from, not counting the basement hooks. So it's agitation. I see myself running agitation. Maybe I probably won't run iron grass, but definitely agitation. I can see an agitation starstruck build with this, just so you make sure that you get to the hook. And there's also some other things you can do with it. So anyways, it's very interesting, and I'll tell you guys the effects of this perk. It's really good, really, truly is. And also she does also have a new hex called Hex Pentimento, and we'll talk about that shortly with what it does. They got page markers for the customization menus, subtitles, and the HUD, new scale, okay. Let's talk about the Cenobite, then we'll get into the killer and the survivor. The Cenobite add-on update. Liquefied gore solving time increased by 1 second, was 2 seconds. Now, there was a big discussion on this earlier. Whether was this a nerf or a buff, because it's hard to determine how it is with how it's worded. The way it's worded to me is it got increased. Depending on what it is, sometimes you want when it just because it says increased doesn't mean it got buffed, and just because it says reduced, it could be still buffed, because you got to think. Sometimes you want something as a killer to activate faster, so reducing it could be good. So if you reduce the cooldown time, that would mean you get it faster, which is good. So, but this right here actually makes the box take longer to solve. So you want to increase this. So according to this actually is a buff, going from increased by 1 second. It was 2 seconds. Now it should be 3 seconds. That's how it reads to me, but I don't think that's how it is. I think it's. We'll have to double check. It should be 3 seconds from what I read there. Torture Pillar Chain Hunt activation time reduced by 5 seconds was 10 seconds. Now, this all add-ons. So the Chain Hunt activation time, you want it to activate fast, right? That's what you want. You want Chain Hunt to activate as fast as possible. So you want this to have a low number. So the activation time being reduced is also a buff. Was 10 seconds. Now it should be 5 seconds from what I see that. Solving time for Larry's remains. Solving time increased by 2 seconds was 4. Solving time increased. Again, sounds like the box is being increased on time by 2 seconds. So it should be 6 seconds. From what I can tell. We're going to double check this to make sure. This is an obvious buff because its undetectable status now lasts 25 seconds was 12. That one's pretty easy to determine, and this is the one that I knew was going to get nerfed, unfortunately. And they actually nerfed the other iridescent as well, which is just, I didn't think it deserved it. I love this perk as is. As you guys know, everything's done in 8 meters, so if they're going to nerf something, it's going to go in 8 meters intervals. When hitting an injured survivor with a possessed chain, only 1 additional chain will spawn. I think it was at 2, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's what's going to happen. This iridescent Lamet configuration range is now 24 meters, not 16. So that made it to where you, unless you was in Chain Hunt, you could not see it. You could see it across the map if you were in Chain Hunt, but before that you can only see it within 16 meters. Now it's going to be 24. And then you got a bunch of bug fixes and some known issues. We're not going to go over that. Let's get into the game and talk about the killer and look at her. We'll go the killer first, and then we will go survivor. So there she is, the artist. A ranged reconnaissance killer able to launch dire crows across the map to reveal and attack survivors. Her personal perks: Grim Embrace, Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, and Hex Pentimento. Allow her to interrupt survivor objectives, torment hook survivors, and use destroy totems to her advantage. Okay? Sorry about that. Okay. She looks really cool, and she's got like this, reminds me of Death Stranding actually, with the oil thing going up in the air like that. There's her birds or crows. I kind of wish she had something to do with the regular crows on the map. You know, like, you know, the perk Spies with Shadows. It used to be such a great locator tracking perk at the beginning of this game's infancy, but now it's never used because it's just not used. It's not worth it. I've tried it. I've tested it again with some other things because it's so many new perks that you can use with it, but it's still not worth using in my opinion. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Here we go. We're not going to read this right now. Grim Embrace. The act of servitude to the entity has gone unnoticed. Each time a survivor is hooked for the first time, you gain a token. Upon reaching 4 tokens, it activates. The entity blocks all generators for 20 seconds. The Obsession's aura is also revealed to you for 4 seconds. Actually, let's go ahead and look at the tier 3s. And she is a 4.6 killer, 32 meter terror radius, average height. So she's pretty much normal in that sense, but she is a long range killer. How do we look at, I want to say you can, there's a way to look at tier 3 without having them. I do forget how to do it. Crap. I forgot to do it. I want to say you go back. Custom game. That's it. Go to custom game. So let's see the tier levels at this. Obviously, we know Grim, Embrace. We'll put our 3 perks on immediately. I had to kind of think about that for a second. Okay, there's Grim. That's got to be the Hex, because that looks new to me. And what was the name of the other one? I'll look for anything different. There it is. Scourge. Okay, so it's 4 tokens, and it goes from 20 to 25 to 30, and 4 seconds stays the same. Okay, now this is the interesting one to me. Well, both of these are interesting. Both of them are really good. This one's more interesting, though. You reveal the true power of the totems hidden within their remains. You see the aura of destroyed totems. You can perform a ritual on a destroyed totem to resurrect it as a rekindled totem. The more rekindled totems that exist, the greater their effects. One rekindled totem reduces survivors' repair speed by 30%. 2. Reduces survivors' healing speed by 30%. This is tier 3. So 30% is the number across the board. 3. Now this is going to be tough, but reduces survivors' recovery speed by 30% from being downed. 4. Reduces survivors' exit gate by 30%. And if you have 5, all totems are blocked. All totems are blocked by the entity, so you can't even like go and cleanse it. That's crazy. So if that happens, you get to that point, you can't do anything about it, and all 4 effects will stay in the game until you're out or dead. Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance. Overwhelming pain reverberates outwards into chaos. At the start of the trial, up to 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. You see their auras in white. Same thing with Pinhead's perk. Anytime a survivor is hooked on the Scourge Hook, the generator with the most progress explodes instantly, losing 15% progress and will start to regress. Survivors repairing the gen will scream, revealing their location. So, I thought it was 20%, but I guess I was thinking this is 20% at tier 1. That's probably what I was thinking. So, that's not bad. This isn't bad, you know, and so is this immediately hooked? So that's actually, if you think about the timing, that's really good. So if you got pop, this will allow you to use pop now for the most part, because you know how many times have you had pop, you hook somebody, but as soon as you get there, before you get there, you can't use it because someone went ahead and completed the generator. That's one major way of countering pop, goes the weasel, and it's just, you know, known throughout the lands of this game. And so now this is going to, even if all 3 or 4 people's on there, you might be able to get there in time, because 15% is, it's a pretty good chunk. That's nice, and you can use that on top of Thanadophobia. There's some really cool ideas coming with this perk. Now, in this perk, I know can be used with, say, Hex Haunted Ground. I had a build that basically made sure that now the thing about this, the gimmick on this is people have to destroy the totem. If they bless it, it's not the same thing. You can't rekindle the totem unless it's destroyed. This is the one thing that needs to be changed on this perk. And even if they made it to where the perk went down in value, so you get this, I would like this to happen, which is this change. And that is survivors can destroy a totem, a hex totem, by blessing it, right? So if you wanted Hex Haunted Grounds, if you had Hex Haunted Grounds or Undying, that's the other one. You could just bless it, and people are going to use bless totems, perks, boon totems, boon perks because they're such a great asset to the team and just the game in general. It's such a game changer, and so you can do two things at once: cleanse a totem and get rid of a hex. Or not cleanse a totem, but get rid of a hex and get your perk at the same time activated. And so you got to make sure that they got to destroy it, and that's the only thing. I think this perk should allow you to, if it's a blessed totem, then you wait. Hold on, that's not the perk though. That would be the mechanic, I guess. I had an idea earlier about it. I'm trying to think. Perform. I just feel like, blessed totems should not either make it to where I feel like they shouldn't, because that's going to change the entire. No one's going to use this perk. It's going to be useless in a lot of ways because people will never destroy totems. They're never going to cleanse them. They're going to bless them. No one uses inner resistance right now. It's not part of the meta, even though locker builds still exist. You know what I mean? That's the only problem with this. But the ritual does take like no time at all. So like as soon as you do rekindle, it happens immediately. So that's pretty cool. And once a rekindle totem is destroyed, I don't know this. I don't know if a rekindle totem can be blessed. Can they bless that totem? I don't know. They might. And so if they can, that's kind of messed up too. They're getting 2 chances to bless a totem. And at the same time, is that still considered a rekindled totem, or is it changed into a blessed totem altogether with no activation towards your perk? There's so many questions that need to be answered on this one. I don't know about. We'll find out soon enough. And but they need to change some mechanics because this isn't going to work as right now with the meta the way it's being. Okay, let's move on. Add-ons. Garden of Rot. When a survivor affected by the Dire Crows completes the repel action, they are afflicted by the exposed status effect for 4 seconds. Okay. It gains undetectable status effect when Birds of Torment is in cooldown and she holds no Dire Crows. Increases the maximum capacity of Dire Crows by 1 and decreases the time Dire Crows stay idle before disintegrating by 4 seconds. No, I'm not going to read all these. I'm just going to read the main ones, the big ones. Survivors within 5 meters of the idle Dire Crow have their auras revealed for 3 seconds. Any survivor near a survivor being swarmed, which is, you'll see the birds or crows swarming them, will also be swarmed. Nice, that's pretty good. This decreases the length of the artist's movement slows when crows take flight by 0.5 seconds. Okay, let's read your power. Okay, so Birds of Torment. From a wellspring of eternal agony comes a swarm of darkness, a wild, ferocious murder of ink-black crows. Press and hold the power button to change Birds of Torment. Once fully charged, tap the attack button to summon a Dire Crow. You can repeat the action quickly by continuously holding down the power button and tapping the attack button again. Wait, you can repeat the action quickly. Okay, I see. When at least one Dire Crow is summoned, it stays idle for a limited time. Spawning a new Dire Crow will extend the time previously spawned Dire Crow stays idle. Okay, you can do like 3, I think. Tap the ability button to propel the crows forward. It looks like kind of like the flight of Concord. The flight of what's it called? It's a song I forgot, but anyways. Flight of the Valkyries. I think that's the name I was thinking of. Dire Crows can inflict damage for a short distance when flying. This is indicated to the killer by the Dire Crow's flight path. A short distance, long distance, it will not do damage unless it has to have them swarm maybe. Once the Dire Crow continues to pass the flight path, it will no longer inflict damage, but now pass through obstacles and reveal nearby. That's when they swarm using Killer Instinct. I think that's when it. Well, no, the Killer Instinct's different. In this phase, dire crows will create a swarm around the survivors they hit. There's a difference between the killer instinct and the swarm, though. Dire crows will create a swarm around survivors they hit, allowing the survivors to see the swarm's aura. You can see the aura, not the killer instinct, but the aura. Survivor can repel the swarm by you can run and do this, and you can repel them by entering a locker. Okay. During this time, the swarm's aura is not shown to the killer. Okay, if you're in the locker, obviously, because the aura is blocked. Swarm will receive damage if hit by a second dire crow. So if you're swarmed and then you're hit with a dire crow, then you take damage. But if you're short distance, it will take damage immediately. So there's the how it works. The cool thing is that very good anti-loot power from what I can tell. All right. Let's go to the survivor. Let's see what he's all about. Where are you at, Jonah Vasquez? Okay. He looks like honestly a PE teacher that I had in middle school. I'm not gonna lie. Overcome, you've calculated how much energy you can risk to expend. When you are injured, you retain movement speed bonus for 2 seconds longer. Overcome causes that's really good, but I'm okay with this, and I'll tell you why. It's an exhaustion perk. You know what that means? You ain't gonna run 2 exhaustion perks, all right? And this perk will not be ran with Dead Hard simultaneously. You cannot do it. It's not like running Lithe and Lithe. You can run Dead Hard with it, but a lot of people used to run Balance Landing and Lithe. They ain't gonna be like that. Once you get hit, you're gonna be exhausted, right? So, and I'm hoping you can see it right away. So if anybody who uses this perk, you know they don't have Dead Hard, right? You should be able to tell. Hopefully, maybe it makes some kind of noise or some kind of, visually you can see it. It'd be nice. Overcome cannot be used when exhausted. So if you're exhausted, it's just like it's an exhaustion perk, obviously. Corrective action. You quickly analyze problems and correct others' work when they make a mistake. What a jerk. Sounds like me. You start the trial with 1 token. Gain a token up to a maximum of 5 for every great skill check. When a survivor fails a skill check while cooperating with you, 1 token is consumed and the failed skill check becomes a good skill check. That is not a good skill. If you're failing skill checks, then you're probably not a very good survivor. It can save you, I guess, but you know what I mean. It's just not that good. It could work when you're getting off a gen or something because but he's already on you by that point. So it's not like Ruin or anything like that, the old Ruin. This is the big one. Boon exponential. When it seems like your number's up, you consider ways to recalculate the odds. Press and hold the ability button near a Dole or Hex totem. To bless it, create a boon totem. Soft chimes ring out for 24 meters. All survivors within the boon totem's range recover 90% faster and can completely, it goes 90, 95, 100. Can completely recover from dying state. Okay? You can bless only 1 totem at a time. All equipped boon perks are active on your boon totem. So, that's why people are running, I had to read that just now and just figure this out. So, if you run 2 boon totems, or 3 now, all boon totems will go on that boon. See, I didn't realize that at first. I didn't. I was like, can you do 2 separate ones? No, you can't do 2 separate ones. You have to do them all on one, and they all go on that 1 totem. So if you got Shadow Step in this, you're going to get both of them. It's ridiculous. Do not tell me boon totems are not just completely overpowered. Otherwise known as OP, OD, whatever you want to call it. They are strong. So, me reading that now, understand why people are running multiple boon totems at once in their build. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. There you have it. That was the survivor. And we'll try to get you some games really fast. We'll try to get those in as soon as we can, guys. But as far as this video is concerned, we're going to go ahead and end it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the information on the public test build that we just provided for you guys. We're going to get in some games as soon as I can. I'm about to jump into some right now, and I'm going to put that into a separate video. And hopefully, you know, I think she's got potential. I've seen some games we played with her, and I'm happy with how she is. I just hope they don't nerf her because of the reaction of all the killers and probably survivors. We have to make it to the live version of the game is what I'm saying, because we can have a great killer here, but if we don't make it to the live version, then it doesn't really mean anything. So let's hope that she makes really big impacts, a really big impact on the live version of the game. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys know what to do with the bell icon. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you guys out in the next video and out in the fog. Take care.